Shito simply means pepper in Ga. Ga is one of the languages in Ghana spoken by the people in Accra. It's a pleasure to come your way with another food recipe, and today we are making none other than shito. Line up here are the various ingredients I'll be using, but for the sake of time, I will introduce them to you as they come to play. I have here my super dried herrings. I have one that is in a fine consistency, so I want to coarsely blend this so that I can have that texture in the shito. I'll throw into my blender some ginger, onion, and the rough texture from my homemade natural spices. You can add garlic. I'm not a fan of garlic. I'll then add water and blend. You can use oil instead of water. To start with, I will pour some oil into my cooking pot. Let me mention here that shito requires a lot of oil, and the oils I am using are that which I have used in frying some fish or fishes. So when the oil heats up, I'll go ahead and add my blended ingredients. I'll immediately follow it up with tomato paste and some oils I have used in a recipe. I think I used that oil in my carrot jollof recipe, so I'll add that. In a video Sweet Ajele shared about 3 years ago, this is how shito came into being. Back in the era of no fridges, when the fishermen returned from sea, the women would fry the fish, make banku or komi, which is kinke, and then pour some shito alongside for the family. And so over time, they decided to use the oil from the fish they have fried to prepare a sauce instead of the grounded peppers. And before they could say Jack, shita baby, shito was gaining popularity in the country, in Ghana. I've been stirring this intermittently because if you leave it to sit without paying attention to it, is going to burn, and that is going to mar the taste of the shito. Earlier on, I added some homemade curry powder. I don't know whether that recipe will come up before this one, but me see curry powder and el bosso ankasa. I want to use this opportunity to welcome you to my channel. If today is your first time here and you love what I do, please subscribe to be a part of this wonderful family. I have been cooking this on a very low medium heat. So back to the story. Parents then decided to add fish powder to the shito and then put them in airtight containers, breakable jars, for their children or wards to take to the boarding school. Shito is basically water-free pepper sauce, and so the water is almost completely gone. So I'm going to add in my pepper, and guys, me see this type of pepper is called kivu. I don't know whether you have it in Nigeria. Let me know if you have it in Nigeria. It is very hot. I don't know, some of the miss one a year you say them, but then the pepper is very good. So lastly, I'll go in with the fish powder. And guys, I mentioned earlier on that shito calls for much oil. You are going to see in a jiffy. Even when you are making your regular stew, sometimes when you add in the fish, they kind of swallow all the oils. That is what happens here. So when you are making shito, you need more oil and then more of the fish powder. As for onion and tomato paste, you don't need much because the more onion you use, the more fish and oil you are going to be adding. It's advisable you adjust your salt after you have added everything. For me, the salt was okay, so I didn't have the need to add any. When it completely cools down, I will bottle it up with the aid of a funnel because I do not want the shito to have any contact with my hands. It will reduce the lifespan of the shito from experience. So I stirred everything together so that I would have at least the same amount of oil on top of each bottle because it is the oil that is going to preserve the shito. The bottles are supplies from Baby Sapon's food. Before I take leave of you, I want to say thank you so much for sticking and staying with me from the beginning up to this time. And I know you have enjoyed the story from Sweet Ajele. Ajele, thank you so much for that lesson.